Imagine standing at the center of a vast, empty stage. The spotlight burns down on you, casting your shadow long and thin across the floor. You feel your limbs move, but something is off. You aren't fully in control. Subtle tugs pull you forward, backward, side to side. You glance up and see thin, nearly invisible strings, attached to your hands, your feet, your very thoughts. But no puppet master looms above. No one is holding these strings except you. You crafted them. Every thought, every belief, every doubt you've allowed to take root has woven these threads into your life. These strings guide your every move. They dictate your reactions, your decisions, your failures, and even your successes. You wake up and follow a routine you didn't consciously design. You make choices influenced by fears you never confronted. You chase goals shaped by expectations that aren't even yours. Most men live like this, acting out scripts written by others, moving along paths they never questioned. They are bound by invisible strings, silently accepting a reality they believe is unchangeable. But what if you could see these strings for what they are? What if you could cut them, one by one, and seize full control over your mind, your decisions, and your future? What if you could command your reality instead of being pulled through it? This book is your blade. Every chapter you are about to read is designed to sharpen that blade and sever the threads that bind you to mediocrity. You will confront the stories you've accepted about yourself. You will dismantle the subconscious programs that have dictated your actions for years. You will take ownership of your mind, your emotions, and your environment. Understand this: your mind is the most powerful force in your life, but without command over it, you are nothing more than a ship drifting in a storm, powerless against the waves. This book will teach you how to take the wheel, to cut through the noise and steer with relentless clarity and strength. You are not here by accident. You picked up this book because some part of you knows you are capable of more. That deep, quiet voice inside you has been whispering for too long. It's time to turn that whisper into a roar. The man you want to become isn't waiting for you at the end of some distant road. He's forged in the decisions you make today. This book is not for those who want comfort. It's for those ready to face the raw, unfiltered truth about themselves. It's for men who are done making excuses, who are ready to crush their limitations and build an unshakable foundation of mental power. The world doesn't owe you clarity, success, or happiness. It owes you nothing, but it will yield to a man who takes full command of himself. This is how you command your reality. Let's begin. Chapter 1: The Power of Inner Narratives, Rewriting Your Life Script. Imagine standing in a grand theater, the red velvet curtains drawn open, the spotlight focused solely on you. The audience is silent, waiting for you to speak, to act. But as you stand there, words do not come from your own mouth. Instead, a script is placed in your hands, one you didn't write, page after page filled with lines you've memorized but never questioned. Lines that dictate who you are, what you can achieve, and how far you're allowed to go. This script was written long ago by voices that were not your own: parents, teachers, friends, failures, and fears. And for years, maybe even decades, you've been playing the role assigned to you. But what if you dropped that script? What if, right now, you decided to rewrite every line? The stories you tell yourself define your reality. They are the silent architects of your actions, your habits, and your decisions. Every belief you hold, whether empowering or limiting, is a thread in the fabric of your life. If those threads are woven with doubt, fear, and mediocrity, the life that wraps around you will suffocate your potential. But if they're woven with strength, clarity, and relentless belief, that same life becomes armor, impenetrable and powerful. Most men live unconsciously bound to narratives they've never challenged. I'm not good enough. Success isn't for people like me. I always screw things up. These thoughts creep in quietly, repeated often enough to harden into belief. And belief, once rooted, dictates action. You hesitate to seize opportunities because somewhere, deep down, you believe you aren't capable. You stay in toxic relationships because you've convinced yourself that's all you deserve. You settle for less because the voice in your head tells you it's safer than trying and failing. But here's the truth: your beliefs are not facts, they are stories, stories you've accepted without question, and any story can be rewritten. Start by exposing the narrative. Listen to the language you use when you talk to yourself. Pay attention to the thoughts that surface when you're under pressure, when you fail, or when you're faced with something bigger than yourself. Are those thoughts empowering you or crippling you? Recognize that these beliefs didn't appear out of nowhere. They were planted by past experiences, by authority figures, by failures you never processed. Maybe you were told you weren't smart enough, strong enough, or talented enough. And without realizing it, you built a life around proving that narrative correct. But understand this, you are not the man you were 5 years ago, or even yesterday. You are not the boy who was underestimated or the teenager who failed. You are the man standing here now, holding the pen, and that pen can rewrite every limitation into a weapon of strength. Take this moment to confront the stories that have held you back. Write them down. Drag them into the light where they lose their power. Then, for every limiting belief, craft a new truth. If you've told yourself, "I always quit," rewrite it as, "I persist until I win." If you've believed, "I'm not a leader," change it to, "I take control of every situation I enter." This is not about blind positivity. This is about creating a foundation of belief so strong that action becomes inevitable. Your new narrative must demand proof. Through consistent action. Want to believe you're disciplined? Show it. Want to believe you're resilient? Prove it. Action cements belief, and belief drives action. This is the cycle that rewrites your story. Consider the greatest men in history. They were not born with unshakable confidence. They forged it. They rewrote their stories every time they failed, every time they were doubted. They didn't let their past dictate their future. Neither should you. Right now, you are holding the pen that will write the next chapter of your life. The script you've been handed can be torn apart and rewritten. The only question is, will you keep reading lines that limit you, or will you create a story that commands power? Ask yourself, what beliefs have been silently guiding my life, and how are they holding me back? More importantly, what new story must I write to unleash the man I was meant to become? It's time to craft a narrative so powerful that every action you take reinforces it. One decision, one belief at a time, you can build a story of relentless strength and unstoppable will. The stage is still yours, the spotlight hasn't dimmed, the audience is still waiting. Now speak your own lines. Write your story. And command your reality. Chapter 2. Mastering Energy Cycles Aligning with Your Peak States. Picture a blacksmith at his forge. The fire blazes, molten metal glows, and with each strike of the hammer, raw material is transformed into a blade of unbreakable steel. But this process is not constant. The fire must be stoked at the right moment, the metal must be struck at its hottest, and the hammer must fall with deliberate force. If the metal cools, no amount of strength will shape it. If the fire burns too hot, the blade becomes brittle and weak. Mastery lies in rhythm, knowing when to act and when to wait. Your mind and body operate in much the same way. You are not a machine designed to run endlessly at full capacity. You are driven by cycles of energy, moments when your mental clarity is sharp, your motivation is high, and your body feels unstoppable. But there are also times when energy wanes, thoughts scatter, and progress slows to a crawl. The problem isn't these natural cycles, it's your failure to recognize and harness them. When you push blindly against your own rhythm, you waste energy. When you align with it, you become unstoppable. Most men treat energy like an unlimited resource, draining themselves through constant exertion, or worse, scattering their efforts across meaningless tasks. They grind endlessly, ignoring the signs their body and mind give them. But discipline without strategy is wasted effort. The key to commanding your reality is mastering the peaks and valleys of your energy cycles. You need to start observing your energy throughout the day. When are you most focused? When does your body feel strongest? When does fatigue creep in? And when do you find yourself slipping into distraction? For some, mornings are a time of unmatched clarity. For others, focus ignites in the quiet of the night. These natural rhythms aren't weaknesses, they are blueprints. Stop fighting them. Start mastering them. Track your energy for a week. Notice when you naturally feel driven and when you feel sluggish. During high energy periods, tackle your most demanding work. Engage in deep, focused projects that require mental sharpness. During low-energy windows, shift to lighter tasks or allow for rest and recovery. This isn't laziness, it's strategic endurance. Even the most powerful engines need maintenance. Beyond daily cycles, consider the broader rhythms of your life. Are there certain days of the week or even months of the year where your drive intensifies? Perhaps you thrive under pressure and slow down without deadlines. If that's true, create artificial pressure. Set deadlines even when none exist. Align your goals with your energy, and you will see progress that feels effortless because it's optimized. Physical energy is tied directly to mental strength. Your body is the vessel of your willpower. Fuel it properly. Hydration, sleep, and nutrition are non-negotiable. Starving your body of these essentials is like asking the blacksmith to forge steel with cold embers. Discipline in your physical health directly fuels your mental stamina. Move your body. Train it, not because it looks good, but because it performs better. A strong body houses a stronger mind. But be warned, energy is not just physical. It's mental and emotional too. Emotional burdens, unresolved conflict, and toxic environments drain you faster than any physical task. Pay attention to the emotional clutter weighing you down. Are you surrounding yourself with people who sap your drive? Are you holding on to grudges that gnaw at your focus? Emotional energy, when mismanaged, will cripple even the most disciplined man. Your environment either drains you or fuels you. Look around. Does your workspace ignite focus or breed distraction? Clean it. Simplify it. Surround yourself with objects that command your focus. Your environment should reflect your mission, not contradict it. Most importantly, recognize that recovery is not a reward, it is part of the process. Just as the blacksmith must allow the steel to cool before sharpening, you must respect rest. Sleep is not optional. Rest days are not for the weak. They are where strength regenerates. Burnout is not proof of dedication, it is proof of mismanagement. Mastering energy cycles is not about working less, it's about working with precision. When your energy surges, you must act. When it dips, you must recharge. This is the rhythm of high performance. Those who learn it build momentum. Those who ignore it burn out. Your energy is your greatest currency. Waste it, and you will fall behind. Master it, and nothing will stand in your way. You must become a man who understands his own rhythm and bends his life to align with it. This is how you become relentless without becoming reckless. Ask yourself now, when am I at my strongest, and when do I fall into weakness? How can I align my greatest efforts with my peak energy? There is no glory in mindless exhaustion, but there is victory in relentless precision. Adjust your life to match your power, and you will move through obstacles like a storm, unstoppable, unyielding. The forge of your mind is burning, the hammer is in your hand. Strike when the metal is hot. And command your reality. Chapter 3: Cognitive Overload, Purging Mental Clutter for Ruthless Clarity. Imagine a warrior preparing for battle. His armor is gleaming, his sword is sharpened, and his body is conditioned for war. Yet if his mind is clouded with doubt, unnecessary fears, and scattered thoughts, he will fall before the first blow is struck. A sharp blade in the hands of a distracted warrior is useless, but a focused mind turns even the simplest weapon into a tool of dominance. Your mind is no different. You can possess all the knowledge, skills, and ambition in the world, but if your thoughts are cluttered with noise, you are swinging wildly in the dark. Mental clutter, excessive information, distractions, and emotional baggage dulls your edge. It scatters your focus and fractures your ability to execute. Clarity is not a luxury, it is a requirement for power. In today's world, cognitive overload is the silent enemy. Notifications scream for your attention. Endless information pours into your mind, most of it irrelevant. You carry around worries, regrets, and countless unfinished thoughts, each one pulling at your focus like vines entangling a warrior's feet. The result? Paralysis, indecision, weakness. The truth is brutal. A man who cannot control his mind will never control his reality. You must begin the process of mental decluttering with ruthless intent. This is not about casually cutting back on distractions. It is about identifying every mental drain and severing it without hesitation. Your mind must become a fortress, and only thoughts that serve your mission should be allowed to enter. Start with your physical environment because it reflects and influences your mental state. Is your workspace a chaotic mess? Every stray object is a silent whisper pulling you away from focus. Clean it. Simplify it. Your space must reflect the clarity you seek in your mind. Surround yourself only with what drives you forward. Next, audit your digital environment. Your phone, your computer, your notifications, they are weapons against your focus when left unchecked. Disable non-essential notifications. Unfollow accounts that add nothing to your growth. Unsubscribe from emails that clutter your mind with noise. Your attention is a finite resource. Guard it as you would your life. But the greatest source of mental clutter is internal. How many unfinished decisions are lingering in your mind? How many conversations replay over and over without resolution? These are mental parasites feeding off your energy. Resolve them. If a decision needs to be made, make it. If a conversation needs to be had, have it. Stop carrying dead weight. Information is another silent killer. We live in an age where information is infinite, but your mind is not. Men drown in content, articles, videos, opinions, confusing consumption with progress. You must become hyper-selective with what you allow into your mental space. Read with intent. Learn with purpose. Every piece of information must serve a goal or it does not belong in your mind. Multitasking is a myth that kills clarity. You may believe you're getting more done, but in reality, you're dividing your strength and weakening every action. The mind was designed to focus deeply on one task at a time. Prioritize, single task. Pour all of your energy into what matters most and you will execute with brutal efficiency. Thoughts are like soldiers. If they are untrained and scattered, they will lose every battle. But when aligned and focused, they become an unstoppable force. Meditation, even for 5 minutes a day, is your training ground. It is not spiritual fluff, it is mental sharpening. Sit in silence. Observe your thoughts without attachment. Learn to command your mind rather than be a slave to it. Mental clarity also requires emotional clarity. You carry emotional baggage like stones in a backpack. Resentment, guilt, regret. These emotions are heavy and useless. They steal your mental bandwidth. Forgive what must be forgiven. Release what must be released, not for others, but for your own clarity. You cannot run toward victory while dragging the dead weight of the past. One of the most effective tools for mental clarity is journaling. Not in the sense of spilling every thought onto a page, but with surgical precision. Every morning write down what must be done. Every evening review what was accomplished and what must be improved. This daily act forces your mind into alignment. It separates what is important from what is noise. Above all, understand this. Mental clutter accumulates when you are passive. You must actively maintain your mental fortress every day. Just as a warrior sharpens his blade before each battle, you must sharpen your mind before each challenge. This is a daily discipline, not a one-time purge. Your mind is your greatest weapon, but only if it is clear, focused, and sharp. Cognitive overload is the enemy, and it must be hunted and destroyed without mercy. Reflect now. What thoughts, distractions, and burdens are dulling my focus? What must I cut away to move forward with clarity and power? Do not allow yourself to be buried under the weight of noise. Strip your mind down to its core and rebuild it into a fortress. Eliminate, refine, and sharpen. You were not meant to live in mental chaos. You were meant to dominate. Your sword is ready. Your mind is the handle. Grip it tightly and strike with purpose. Chapter 4. Shadow Integration, Using Your Dark Side for Growth. Within every man lies a shadow, a part of the self that lurks beneath the surface, filled with suppressed emotions, hidden desires, and untapped power. Society teaches you to ignore this part of yourself, to bury it deep under layers of politeness, fear, and conformity. But what is hidden does not disappear. It festers, it waits, and when ignored, it manifests in ways that sabotage your strength and shatter your control. Consider a dam holding back a powerful river. If cracks begin to form and are ignored, the water will find its way through, eroding the structure until it collapses. But if that force is acknowledged and directed, it can generate energy, nourish land, and carve paths through stone. Your shadow is that force. Left unacknowledged, it will undermine you. Embraced and directed, it will make you unstoppable. The darkness within you, your aggression, envy, fear, ambition, is not your enemy. It is raw energy. It is the fuel you need to rise, to break limits, to dominate your reality. Deny it, and it controls you. Integrate it, and you command it. Every man who has shaped history, every force of nature that has walked this earth, has not been free of darkness. They have simply learned to wield it. The first step to integrating your shadow is to confront it with brutal honesty. Stop pretending that you are purely good, that you are free of anger, lust, greed, or envy. These emotions are natural. They are human. To deny them is to reject a part of your own power. Begin by identifying the parts of yourself you have been conditioned to suppress. Ask yourself, what parts of me do I fear? What parts do I hide from others and myself? Aggression is often the first to be buried. Society teaches men to avoid aggression, to be soft and compliant, yet aggression is a tool of survival and progress. It is the drive that pushes you to fight for what matters. It is the edge that sharpens your ambition. Without it, you are dulled by passivity. Controlled aggression, however, becomes assertiveness, discipline, and relentless pursuit. Consider the man who never stands up for himself, who bites his tongue and allows disrespect to go unchecked. That aggression does not vanish. It turns inward. It breeds resentment, self-loathing, and anxiety. Now imagine that same man channeling his aggression into setting firm boundaries, into pushing harder in his pursuits, into defending his standards. He becomes a man of presence, of respect. Aggression, when directed, is power. Jealousy and envy are other shadows men are told to suppress. But what is jealousy if not a signal of desire? When you envy another man's success, it reveals a longing for what he has, a stronger body, greater wealth, deeper relationships. Most men respond by denying the feeling or resenting the man they envy. Few stop to ask, what does this envy teach me about what I truly want? Redirect that energy. Let it become the spark that ignites your own fire to build, to grow, to dominate. Fear, too, is a shadow emotion. It can freeze you in place or propel you forward. When fear arises, do not run. Study it. Understand what it is warning you about. Is it fear of failure? Then you know your ambition is greater than your current courage. Is it fear of judgment? Then you know your identity is still tied to the opinions of weaker men. Fear marks the path you must walk. Walk it. Even your selfishness holds power. Men are conditioned to believe that self-interest is wrong. But if you do not prioritize your own strength, your own growth, your own success, you become weak and dependent. When you are strong, when your cup is full, you can pour into others without depleting yourself. Selfishness in balance leads to self-mastery. But integrating the shadow is not permission to indulge recklessly. This is not about giving in to destructive impulses. This is about recognizing that these forces exist within you and choosing to channel them productively. Like a blacksmith forging a blade, the raw metal of your darker instincts must be heated, hammered, and sharpened. Left unrefined, it cuts without aim. Forged with discipline, it becomes a weapon of precision. One of the most effective ways to confront and integrate your shadow is through reflection and journaling. Begin by writing down the emotions you avoid and the traits in others that trigger you. These are clues to your own suppressed qualities. If arrogance enrages you, perhaps you fear asserting your own confidence. If ruthlessness disgusts you, perhaps you fear being decisive. Use this awareness to reclaim those traits in their most constructive form. Physical expression is also essential. Your body is the vessel through which suppressed energy leaks or erupts. Use it as a tool of integration. Aggression can be burned into strength through intense physical training. Fear can be overridden by putting yourself in discomfort, cold exposure, hard conversations, public speaking. The more you practice facing what you avoid, the more you tame your shadow. Controlled confrontation is another tool. Have the difficult conversations you avoid. Speak the truths you fear will make others uncomfortable. Each time you do, you reclaim a piece of yourself that you've been hiding. Every time you stand in discomfort, you integrate the part of you that once retreated. The men who dominate life are not those who are purely good or purely evil. They are whole. They have accepted every part of themselves. The noble and the ruthless, the compassionate and the aggressive. They know when to be the storm and when to be the calm. This is balance. This is power. The shadow is not your enemy. It is the part of you that has been waiting to be unleashed, waiting to be forged into strength. Stop hiding from it. Stop fearing it. Look into it and claim what is yours. Ask yourself now, what parts of me have I buried? How much stronger would I be if I stopped hiding and started using them? You are not here to be half a man, to live only in the light while fearing the dark. You are here to be whole, to be complete, to be dangerous when necessary and disciplined always. Integrate your shadow, command it, and become the force of nature you were meant to be. Chapter 5. Decisiveness as a weapon, destroying indecision and hesitation. A blade is only as deadly as the hand that wields it. The sharpest sword, left unsheathed, is nothing more than cold steel. Likewise, the most powerful thoughts and the greatest ambitions are worthless without decisive action. Indecision dulls the mind, paralyzing progress and eroding confidence. It is the silent killer of potential, the slow poison that keeps men trapped in the limbo between thought and action. Picture a man standing at a crossroads, staring endlessly at the paths before him. One road leads to hardship but growth, the other to comfort but stagnation. Days turn into months and months into years, as he weighs every possibility, calculating every risk, but never moving. Meanwhile, another man arrives at the same crossroads, and without hesitation takes a step forward. His path may be harder, but every step strengthens him. He learns, adapts, and moves with momentum, leaving the other man to rot in his uncertainty. The difference between these men is not intelligence or strength, it's decisiveness. To command your reality, you must become a man of action. You must train your mind to move swiftly and with authority. Indecision is a weakness, and hesitation is a betrayal of your own potential. The world does not wait for the man who cannot decide. It rewards the man who acts. Indecision stems from fear, fear of failure, fear of judgment, and fear of the unknown. But here's the truth. The worst decision is no decision at all. Every moment you spend overanalyzing and hesitating is a moment lost. Inaction is a choice in itself, a choice to surrender control and let life dictate your path. Those who wait for certainty will die waiting because certainty is an illusion. The man who commands his reality does not wait for perfect conditions, he creates them through action. Consider how many opportunities you've allowed to slip by because you hesitated. How many conversations you avoided, risks you didn't take, decisions you deferred. Those were moments where your power was handed over to fear and doubt. The man who dominates life understands that no decision is ever perfect, but action creates clarity, and momentum is a force stronger than any amount of overthinking. Decisiveness must be trained like any muscle. Start with small decisions. When you decide what to eat, what time to wake up, or what task to prioritize, do it quickly and with finality. The goal is to condition your mind to move forward without second-guessing. Over time, this mental reflex will carry into larger, more critical decisions. Every small, decisive action sharpens your ability to command larger, more impactful ones. The need for perfect information before acting is a trap. You will never have every detail, and waiting for complete knowledge is a coward's excuse. High-performing individuals make decisions with 70% of the information and adjust along the way. Action reveals what indecision conceals. You will learn more by doing than by thinking. Mistakes are not failures. They are the sharpening stones that refine your strategy. In contrast, indecision breeds stagnation, regret, and a slow erosion of self-respect. Another crucial aspect of decisiveness is owning your decisions. Weak men make decisions and immediately search for ways out, looking for excuses or someone to blame if things go wrong. Strong men commit fully. They understand that even if a decision leads to failure, it's their responsibility to adapt and recover. This ownership breeds resilience and power. Your decisions, good or bad, are yours to bear, and that is where true control begins. Reflect on the moments in your life where hesitation cost you. Relationships lost because you couldn't speak your truth. Opportunities missed because you doubted your readiness. Battles forfeited because you refused to engage. How much ground have you surrendered because you couldn't choose a path? Now ask yourself, what could you gain if you refused to hesitate again? To build decisiveness, adopt a mindset of decide and move. When faced with a choice, set a strict time limit, 10 seconds, 10 minutes, or 1 day, depending on the situation. Make your choice and act. Let go of the need for perfection and embrace the momentum that comes with action. Trust that your ability to adapt is stronger than your need to be right. Fear of failure often disguises itself as the need for more time. But failure is not the enemy, inaction is. Failure teaches. It provides feedback. Every misstep is a data point guiding you toward success. Action sharpens instinct, while hesitation dulls it. Every time you hesitate, you weaken the connection between your mind and your will. Every time you act, you reinforce that connection. There is also a psychological power in being decisive. People are drawn to leaders who move with purpose. Indecision breeds doubt, not just in yourself, but in those who follow you. Commanding your reality means commanding the respect of others, and nothing commands respect like decisive action. When you speak, speak with certainty. When you move, move with purpose. This confidence becomes contagious, and people will begin to look to you for leadership. Embracing decisiveness also requires cutting out distractions and limiting choices. A cluttered mind cannot move swiftly. Simplify your life. Remove unnecessary options. Reduce mental clutter so your focus is sharp and your decisions are swift. Create environments where the path forward is clear. Structure your day so that important decisions are prioritized and distractions are minimized. Lastly, understand that not all decisions will feel good. Growth demands discomfort. You will have to make hard calls, sever relationships that drain you, take risks that scare you, and commit to paths that challenge you. But this is the price of control. It is far better to face discomfort than to live in the silent pain of regret. Decisiveness is the weapon that cuts through hesitation and shapes reality. It is the mark of a man who refuses to be a prisoner of doubt and fear. Every moment you hesitate, you surrender power. Every decision you make swiftly and with conviction is a step closer to dominating your life. Ask yourself now, where have I been hesitating and what has it cost me? More importantly, what could I gain if I decided and moved without hesitation? You do not need more time. You do not need more information. You need to move, act, decide, fail if you must, but move forward relentlessly. This is how you command your reality. By making decisions without fear, acting without hesitation, and owning every outcome with strength. No more waiting, no more second-guessing. The time to act is now. Decide, move, conquer. Chapter 6: Environmental Manipulation, Crafting a Space that Forces Growth. A seed cannot thrive in barren soil. No matter how strong its genetic code, it will wither if planted in a lifeless environment. Similarly, no matter how ambitious or disciplined you believe yourself to be, you will struggle to grow in an environment that stifles progress. Your surroundings are either sharpening your edge or dulling it. The walls you live within, the people you surround yourself with, and even the habits embedded in your daily spaces, these forces are constantly shaping you, either forging your strength or feeding your weakness. Imagine a blacksmith hammering steel in a chaotic, unkept forge, surrounded by broken tools and damp air. The fire cannot burn hot enough, the hammer lacks its weight, and every strike is weakened. Now imagine a forge meticulously maintained, every tool in its place, the fire raging with controlled intensity. The smith moves with precision, and every strike brings the blade closer to perfection. This is the difference between a man who curates his environment for growth and one who carelessly allows his surroundings to dictate his fate. Your environment is more than just a backdrop. It is an active force that can either accelerate or suffocate your growth. To command your reality, you must command your environment. You must build a space that demands strength, focus, and relentless progress. The truth most men ignore is that their environment silently dictates their behaviors and decisions. It's the unseen hand guiding your focus, your habits, and ultimately, your destiny. Consider how easy it is to fall into mindless scrolling when your phone is within arm's reach, or how effortlessly hours slip away when surrounded by people with no ambition. These aren't mere coincidences, they're consequences of an environment designed without intention. Look at the space where you spend most of your time. Is it engineered for productivity and growth, or is it a comfort trap that breeds complacency? Cluttered desks, open browser tabs, constant noise. These are not trivial inconveniences. They are obstacles that sap your mental energy and weaken your focus. Conversely, a streamlined, purposeful space sharpens the mind and reinforces discipline. Start with the physical. Your environment must reflect the man you are becoming, not the man you were. Remove anything that doesn't serve your purpose. If an object, habit, or person doesn't push you forward, it pulls you back. This is not about aesthetics, it's about utility. A clean, organized space eliminates distractions. A dedicated area for work signals your mind to focus. Every item in your environment should have a function that supports your mission. But it's not just the physical space, it's the people in your orbit. Who you surround yourself with will either elevate you or anchor you. Your friends, family, co-workers, they all influence your mindset. If they are lazy, unmotivated, or negative, that energy infects you. You must be ruthless about who gets access to your energy. Spend time with those who challenge you, inspire you, and demand more from you. Cut ties or at least distance yourself from those who drain you. Consider how you consume information. Your mental environment is shaped by the media you digest. News cycles designed to provoke fear, endless social media feeds of comparison, entertainment that numbs instead of educates. These are weeds in the garden of your mind. You must guard your mental space with the same vigilance you guard your physical space. Curate what you read, watch, and listen to. Consume content that fuels growth, not comfort. Habits are another form of environmental influence. Your routines either automate progress or automate failure. The man who leaves his gym clothes out the night before is more likely to train in the morning. The man who keeps junk food within reach is more likely to binge. Small environmental cues have massive impacts on behavior. Engineer your habits by designing your space to make success easier and failure harder. There is also power in creating pressure. High performers understand that comfort is the enemy of growth. They intentionally design environments that demand performance. This could mean setting public deadlines, joining groups where standards are high, or creating consequences for inaction. Pressure, when applied correctly, sharpens focus and accelerates growth. You must create an environment that leaves no room for excuses. Look at your day-to-day spaces, your home, your workspace, even your car. Do they reflect discipline and intention, or chaos and comfort? The man who commands his reality controls every aspect of his environment because he knows that every detail either strengthens or weakens him. But understand this: designing your environment is not a one-time act. It is an ongoing process of refinement. As you grow, your environment must evolve with you. What served you at one stage may hinder you in the next. You must constantly audit and adjust your surroundings to match your rising standards. This is how you maintain momentum and avoid complacency. Reflect on the forces shaping your life right now. Which parts of your environment push you forward, and which parts pull you back? What distractions have you allowed to linger, and what comfort traps are holding you in place? You must confront these truths with brutal honesty. Every minute spent in a weak environment is a minute stolen from your potential. Your environment is either forging you into steel or eroding you into dust. Every object, every habit, every person in your life is either sharpening your edge or dulling it. This is not a matter of chance, but of choice. The man who commands his reality first commands his environment. Ask yourself now, what in my environment is holding me back, and what am I willing to do about it? More importantly, what can I change today to build a space that forces me to grow? You cannot outwork a toxic environment. You cannot overpower a space designed to keep you weak. Change must begin with your surroundings. Strip away the comfort. Eliminate the distractions. Surround yourself with challenge and purpose. This is how you turn your environment into a forge, a space that tempers your will, sharpens your focus, and demands your best. Do not wait. Redesign your world today. Command your space, and you will command your reality. Chapter 7. Information Warfare, Guarding Your Mind Against Mental Pollution. Your mind is a fortress, but every fortress has its gates. What you allow through those gates either strengthens your defenses or erodes your foundation. In the modern world, information is relentless, streaming into your consciousness from every angle. Social media, news feeds, conversations, advertisements. Most men live unaware of how much of their mental energy is drained by this constant influx of noise. Like poison slowly seeping into a well, unchecked information weakens your focus, clouds your judgment, and fragments your will. Imagine a warrior sharpening his blade for battle, only to let dirt and rust accumulate with every stroke. His weapon becomes dull, unreliable, and ineffective. This is what happens to your mind when you consume low-quality, fear-driven, or mindless information. Every useless fact, every trivial argument, every sensational headline adds layers of rust to your mental edge. To command your reality, you must wage war on mental pollution. You must become ruthless in guarding the gates of your mind. The war for your mind is silent, but it is everywhere. You may believe that you are in control, but every algorithm, every headline, every curated feed is designed to hijack your attention. Companies spend billions to capture your focus, knowing that the longer they hold it, the weaker your grip on your own mind becomes. This is no accident. It is a carefully crafted assault on your clarity, your discipline, and your ability to think independently. Every piece of information you consume shapes your reality. A man who feeds on negativity will see only obstacles. A man who consumes distractions will find himself drifting aimlessly. But a man who intentionally selects what enters his mind will see opportunities where others see walls. He will remain steady while others are overwhelmed. Consider how much of your day is spent absorbing information that serves no purpose. Endless scrolling through social media, reading articles designed to provoke outrage, binge-watching content that offers no growth. Each moment feels harmless in isolation, but collectively, these moments erode your mental strength. They sap your energy, dull your focus, and program your mind to crave stimulation instead of solutions. To reclaim your mental sovereignty, you must implement an information diet. This is not a suggestion, it is a necessity. Just as you would not fuel your body with poison, you cannot fuel your mind with garbage. Start by auditing every source of information in your life. Identify what empowers you and what drains you. Unfollow, unsubscribe, and disengage from anything that does not sharpen your mind or serve your goals. Be deliberate with your consumption. Choose books, articles, podcasts, and conversations that challenge you, educate you, and push you forward. Seek out sources that expand your thinking rather than confirm your biases. The goal is not to shield yourself from reality, but to curate the version of reality that empowers you to act. Set strict boundaries with digital consumption. Technology is a tool, not a master. Disable unnecessary notifications. Limit your exposure to news cycles designed to manipulate emotions. Schedule specific times for consuming information and stick to it. Let your default state be focus, not distraction. Understand that even the people you engage with shape your mental environment. Conversations filled with gossip, complaints, and negativity pollute your mind just as much as toxic media. Surround yourself with individuals who speak about ideas, solutions, and growth. Engage in discussions that challenge your perspective and demand thoughtful responses. Be wary of information overload. In the pursuit of knowledge, many men drown in data. They read countless books, watch endless tutorials, and attend seminar after seminar without applying a single lesson. Knowledge without action is mental clutter. The goal is not to know everything, it is to know what is essential and apply it relentlessly. Create a system for processing information. When you consume something valuable, act on it immediately. Take notes, set goals, and integrate new insights into your life. Let information be a catalyst for change, not a comfort for inaction. A sharpened mind is not overloaded, it is precise, focused, and always moving forward. This war against mental pollution requires constant vigilance. The world will not stop trying to steal your attention. You must defend it daily. Treat your mind as sacred ground. Protect it with the same ferocity you would defend your home. This is the mindset of a man who commands his reality. Your mind is your most powerful weapon, but it is also your greatest vulnerability. Every piece of information you allow into it either sharpens your focus or dulls your edge. There is no neutral ground. You are either strengthening your mind or letting it rot. Ask yourself now, what have I allowed into my mind that weakens me? What am I consuming daily that steals my energy and focus? More importantly, what will I remove today to reclaim control of my mind? Your reality is shaped by the thoughts you cultivate, and your thoughts are shaped by the information you consume. If you want to command your reality, you must first command what enters your mind. You must become ruthless in filtering out the noise, the distractions, and the manipulation. Do not wait for clarity to find you. Seize it. Build an information environment that sharpens your mind, strengthens your will, and fuels your ambition. Cut out the noise. Eliminate the mental garbage. Fortify your mind with knowledge that demands action and fuels progress. This is your war to fight, and it is a war worth winning. Command your mind, and you will command your reality. Chapter 8. Voluntary Hardship, Seeking Out Struggle to Build Strength. Nature does not apologize for its harshness. The fiercest storms, the highest mountains, the deepest oceans, each was forged through relentless pressure, chaos, and time. Nothing powerful is born from comfort. Strength, both physical and mental, is sculpted by adversity. Yet, modern life offers unprecedented comfort and convenience. With a swipe of a finger, desires are met. With a click, challenges are avoided. But understand this, comfort is a slow death. It numbs the edge of your spirit and drains the vitality required to command your reality. Imagine steel that is never tested by fire. It remains brittle, fragile, easily broken. A man without struggle is the same, soft, uncertain, and incapable of withstanding the inevitable storms of life. Voluntary hardship is the furnace where resilience is forged. The deliberate act of seeking discomfort, embracing challenge, and walking headlong into struggle is the secret path to unshakable strength. It is through self-imposed adversity that you will transcend your limitations and become a force that no obstacle can deter. In a world obsessed with comfort, choosing hardship seems illogical. But this choice is where true power resides. Voluntary hardship is not about punishing yourself. It's about conditioning your mind and body to endure, adapt, and thrive. It is a deliberate rebellion against the softness that modern life encourages. Every moment of chosen discomfort is a step away from weakness and a stride toward dominance. Consider how easily comfort seduces. The warm bed that keeps you from early workouts, the junk food that replaces nutritious meals, the mindless entertainment that distracts you from your goals. These comforts are the chains that quietly enslave you. They rob you of resilience, discipline, and the mental toughness necessary to rise above mediocrity. Each time you surrender to comfort, you reinforce the habit of avoidance. But when you voluntarily embrace discomfort, you condition yourself to meet life's inevitable hardships with unwavering strength. Voluntary hardship can take many forms, each serving as a tool to sharpen your mind and body. Cold exposure, for example, is a simple yet profound practice. The moment you step into freezing water, your mind screams for escape. But if you stand firm, controlling your breath and mastering your reaction, you begin to reclaim authority over your instinctual fear. It's not about the cold. It's about training your mind to remain calm when everything in you wants to flee. Fasting is another discipline that strengthens both will and body. In a world where food is constantly available, Choosing to abstain is a powerful act of self-command. Hunger sharpens focus. It teaches you to separate desire from necessity. By denying yourself instant gratification, you cultivate patience and mental endurance, two qualities essential for long-term success. Physical exertion is perhaps the most direct form of voluntary hardship. Intense exercise pushing your body beyond comfort teaches you the value of perseverance. Each repetition when your muscles burn, each step when your lungs scream, is a battle of mind over matter. Those who routinely push themselves physically develop a mind that refuses to quit, even when pain and fatigue threaten to break them. But voluntary hardship is not limited to the physical. Mental challenges are equally powerful. Embrace difficult conversations that you would normally avoid. Confront fears that have silently governed your decisions. Take on projects that stretch your capabilities. Each mental challenge you confront voluntarily is a brick in the fortress of your resilience. The key to voluntary hardship is consistency. Sporadic acts of struggle are not enough. It must become a way of life. Every day offers opportunities to choose the harder path, the path that demands more effort, more focus, more discipline. When you regularly place yourself in discomfort, you eliminate the fear of struggle. You become familiar with pain, with pressure, and with failure, and in doing so, you strip them of their power over you. Hardship also reveals the truth about who you are. In comfort, it's easy to believe you're disciplined, focused, and strong. But in the crucible of challenge, the truth is exposed. Weaknesses surface, excuses crumble, and your character is laid bare. This exposure is a gift. It allows you to see where you must grow, where you must harden, and where you must rebuild. Avoiding this process is denying yourself the chance to evolve. Moreover, voluntarily seeking out struggle grants you control over your growth. Life will inevitably bring pain and hardship, but when you make struggle a choice, you prepare yourself for the storms that are not. You learn to navigate adversity with confidence, knowing you've willingly faced worse. You no longer fear the unexpected because you have made adversity an ally, not an enemy. Understand that the world respects strength, not comfort. Leaders, innovators, warriors, they all possess a common trait, the willingness to endure more than others. They do not run from hardship, they run toward it. This is the mindset you must adopt. Make voluntary hardship a daily practice, and you will forge an unbreakable will. Strength is not given. It is earned in the quiet moments when you choose struggle over ease, discomfort over pleasure, and growth over stagnation. The man who avoids hardship is a man controlled by fear. The man who embraces it becomes unstoppable. Ask yourself, where in my life have I chosen comfort over growth? What challenges have I avoided because they seemed too painful or too difficult? More importantly, what hardship will I willingly face today to sharpen my mind and harden my resolve? Understand this, every hardship you embrace, every discomfort you confront, adds another layer to your strength. You are not meant to drift through life in comfort. You are meant to be tested, to struggle and to rise stronger each time. Comfort will never make you powerful. Only voluntary hardship will. Begin now. Choose the harder path. Wake earlier than you want to. Push your body further than it wants to go. Deny yourself pleasures that weaken your discipline. Lean into fear instead of stepping back. Do this relentlessly, and you will become a force of nature. Your reality is shaped by the challenges you accept and the struggles you endure. Start forging your strength today. In the furnace of voluntary hardship, you will discover the indestructible force within you. Chapter 9. Psychological Detachment, Mastering Control by Letting Go. A clenched fist holds nothing. The tighter you grip sand, the faster it slips through your fingers, yet many men approach life with this very grip, trying to control every outcome, every person, every situation. But control, when misunderstood, becomes a prison. The paradox is this: the more you try to control what is beyond you, the more power you lose over yourself. Mastery begins when you realize that not everything demands your command. Like a seasoned warrior, you must learn when to strike and when to step back, when to engage and when to release. Psychological detachment is not apathy. It is strategic surrender. It is the conscious decision to focus on what you can influence and release what you cannot. Only then can you truly command your reality. Detachment is often mistaken for weakness or indifference, but in truth it is the discipline of the strongest minds. A man who is attached to every result, every opinion, every outcome is like a ship chained to the dock, safe but motionless. He becomes reactive, easily swayed by failure, consumed by fear, and distracted by things he cannot change. Detachment frees you from this chaos. It is the art of stepping back, seeing the entire battlefield, and choosing your moves with precision. Imagine a chess grandmaster. He does not obsess over every pawn lost. He sacrifices pieces strategically because he sees the greater game. His focus is on victory, not the emotional sting of a minor setback. Life operates the same way. You will lose battles. You will face setbacks. But if you are attached to every misstep, you will exhaust your energy on emotions rather than solutions. Detachment allows you to remain steady, to recalibrate and strike harder when it counts. Consider relationships, a common battlefield of attachment. Many men destroy their peace by clinging to relationships that no longer serve them, or by obsessing over the actions of others. They attempt to control how they are perceived, how others feel, how situations unfold. This is wasted energy. People are not chess pieces to be maneuvered. Detachment teaches you to focus on your own behavior and decisions, recognizing that others' actions are beyond your command. You cannot control loyalty, love, or respect, but you can control how you carry yourself and the standards you set for who remains in your life. This principle extends to failure and success. Men often attach their identity to outcomes. A failed business, a missed opportunity, or a rejection becomes a reflection of their worth. But outcomes are data, not definitions. Detachment allows you to view failure as feedback, not fatality. It gives you the clarity to adapt rather than crumble. Similarly, detachment from success prevents complacency. You understand that one victory does not define you, and so you continue to sharpen your edge, knowing that the war is never truly over. Detachment does not mean passivity. It is not about giving up effort, but about releasing obsession. It is about applying your full energy where it matters, and withdrawing it where it does not. This distinction is vital. A detached man does not drift aimlessly. He moves with focused intent, unburdened by the weight of things he cannot change. He engages fully in his mission but remains unshaken by setbacks. He commands his reality because he knows where to invest his power. To cultivate detachment, begin by identifying where your energy is being drained by unnecessary control. Are you obsessing over the opinions of others? Are you paralyzed by the fear of failure? Are you holding on to relationships or outcomes that weaken your focus? Awareness is the first strike. Once identified, the next step is redirection. Redirect your energy toward what you can influence, your habits, your discipline, your mindset. Release everything else. Practice detachment in daily life. When faced with criticism, pause and ask, is this feedback useful or is it noise? If it's useful, learn from it. If not, discard it. When plans fall apart, ask, what can I still control? Then act on that. Let go of the emotional drag. Understand that life is a series of variables, many of which are beyond your reach. The storm will come whether you fear it or not, but while you cannot calm the wind, you can set your sails. Meditation is a powerful tool for building detachment. In meditation, thoughts arise and fade. You learn to observe without reacting, to let thoughts pass without clinging to them. This practice extends into life. Emotions, failures, successes, they all pass. Detachment gives you the space between stimulus and response, allowing you to act with strategy rather than impulse. Another strategy is the worst-case scenario exercise. Imagine the worst possible outcome of a situation you're attached to. Now ask yourself, if this happens, can I survive it? Almost always, the answer is yes. This realization dismantles fear and loosens the grip of attachment. You become bolder, knowing that even failure cannot break you. Detachment also demands you confront ego. Much of our need for control stems from ego-driven desires to be right, to be admired, to win at all costs. But the ego is fragile. It cannot withstand failure or criticism. Detachment weakens the ego's hold. It shifts your focus from appearing powerful to actually being powerful. You stop chasing validation and start building undeniable strength. Mastery is not about controlling everything. It is about commanding yourself amidst everything. Detachment sharpens this command. It frees your mind from the clutter of obsession and grants you the clarity to act with purpose. It is the silent strength of a man who does not flinch in the face of chaos because he knows exactly where his power lies. Ask yourself, where am I wasting energy trying to control the uncontrollable? What would change if I redirected that energy toward mastering myself? Reflect on the attachments that chain you, people, outcomes, fears, and decide now to release them, not out of weakness but out of strength. Power is not in the grip but in the release. Let go, not to drift but to move forward unburdened. Detachment is not the absence of care, it is the presence of control. It is knowing when to hold firm and when to release your grip. Today, loosen your hold on what drains you. Reclaim that energy. Focus it on the battles that matter. Command your reality by mastering yourself, and no force will be able to sway you. Chapter 10. Reality Distortion, Bending Beliefs to Shape Your World. Reality is not as rigid as it appears. It bends, warps, and molds itself to the strength of your beliefs and the clarity of your vision. Imagine standing before a mirror that doesn't merely reflect but absorbs your thoughts and reflects back the world as you believe it to be. This is the nature of reality. Those who see the world as fixed and immovable remain trapped within its walls. But those who dare to question its limits, who challenge the very framework of what's possible, become architects of their own existence. This ability to distort and reshape reality isn't fantasy. It's a mindset cultivated by the world's most successful and influential figures. They do not accept the world as it is. They demand it bends to their will. You are no different. The moment you decide that the rules can be bent, and that barriers can be broken, you step into a realm where your beliefs sculpt the very fabric of your life. The concept of a reality distortion field is often attributed to visionaries like Steve Jobs. It's a term used to describe an unrelenting belief that the impossible is possible. A mindset so powerful it influences not only personal action, but the perceptions and actions of others. This mindset doesn't accept limits. It bends facts, obstacles, and even failures into stepping stones toward success. But this isn't about delusion. It's about refusing to let conventional thinking dictate what can and cannot be done. Your beliefs act as the blueprint for your reality. If you believe the world is against you, your mind will search for and amplify every slight, every setback, reinforcing that narrative. Conversely, if you believe the world is a field of opportunities waiting to be claimed, your mind will uncover paths others overlook. The difference between these two perspectives isn't in external circumstances, but in internal command. What you believe to be true becomes true in practice because your actions unconsciously align with those beliefs. This is the foundation of bending reality. Consider the limits you currently accept without question. Perhaps you believe you're not smart enough, not wealthy enough, or not experienced enough to achieve your goals. These aren't facts, they're programmed scripts. Often these beliefs weren't even yours to begin with. They were handed to you by family, society, or past failures, yet you continue to operate under their rule. To command your reality, you must first dismantle these mental constraints and replace them with beliefs that serve your ambition. The first step is radical self-inquiry. Question every belief you hold about what's possible for you. Ask yourself, who told me this was true? And what evidence do I have that this is an unchangeable fact? In most cases, you'll find the foundation of these beliefs is weak, built on assumptions rather than reality. This recognition is liberating because it reveals that these walls are paper-thin, not concrete. Next, you must deliberately implant new, empowering beliefs. This is not wishful thinking, it's strategic mental conditioning. Visionaries constantly reinforce beliefs that align with their desired outcomes. They visualize success, not as a distant possibility, but as an inevitable reality. Visualization is a powerful tool in this process. When you visualize your goals with clarity and emotional intensity, your brain begins to treat them as familiar, reducing fear and hesitation when pursuing them. You begin to act in alignment with this vision, bending reality closer to your will. Your language also shapes your reality. The words you use both in thought and speech either expand or limit your potential. Saying, "I can't," instantly shuts down possibilities. Saying, "How can I?" opens the mind to solutions. This linguistic shift, though small, has profound effects over time. Your subconscious mind listens closely to the words you speak. By choosing words that reflect possibility and strength, you begin to program yourself for dominance rather than defeat. Surroundings further reinforce or weaken your ability to bend reality. Surround yourself with people who constantly complain, doubt, and fear, and you'll unconsciously absorb their limitations. Conversely, when you surround yourself with those who defy odds and chase the impossible, you expand your mental framework. Your environment must align with your desired reality. This means curating not only the people around you, but also the media you consume, the conversations you engage in, and the thoughts you entertain. Action is the final and most critical component. Belief without action is hallucination. Once you've reshaped your internal framework, you must move decisively. Each bold action reinforces your belief in your ability to command reality. It becomes a cycle. Belief fuels action, and action reinforces belief. This is how momentum is built. Start small if necessary, but start. The more you act in defiance of perceived limits, the more those limits dissolve. Understand that reality resists at first. When you begin to challenge it, obstacles will arise, not as signs to stop, but as tests of your conviction. This is where most people falter. They misinterpret resistance as proof they should retreat. But in truth, resistance is the threshold you must cross to reshape your world. Lean into it. Every setback, every failure is bending reality a little closer to your will if you persist. Reality is not a fixed wall. It is clay, waiting to be shaped by hands strong enough to mold it. But it will not yield to those who doubt themselves. It bends only to the relentless, to those who refuse to accept the world as it is and instead demand it reflect their vision. The power to command your reality begins the moment you reject the limits imposed upon you and start imposing your will on the world. Ask yourself, what rules have I blindly accepted that are holding me back? What would I attempt if I truly believed I could not fail? Write these down, challenge them, replace them with beliefs that empower you, then act. Do not wait for permission, for proof, or for perfect conditions. Begin bending reality now. The world does not belong to those who wait. It belongs to those bold enough to believe it can be changed, and relentless enough to make it so. Command your reality, or be commanded by it. The choice has always been yours. Chapter 11. Strategic Solitude, Using Isolation to Accelerate Growth. In a world drowning in noise, isolation is power. Imagine a mountain standing in silent defiance against the howling winds. It does not move, it does not speak, yet its presence dominates the horizon. You must become that mountain. Solitude is not loneliness, it is the deliberate act of retreating from the noise to sharpen your edge. The most powerful men in history understood the necessity of isolation. It is in these moments of deliberate withdrawal that clarity emerges, strategy solidifies, and the mind becomes unshakable. Without isolation, you are at the mercy of distractions, constant chatter, opinions, and the pressure to conform. But in solitude, you strip away the excess, confront your raw thoughts, and rebuild yourself stronger and sharper. Isolation is the forge where mental warriors are made. Many men fear solitude because they have been conditioned to equate it with loneliness, weakness, or social failure. Society glorifies constant connectivity, always available, always responsive. But this state of perpetual noise is the very reason most men are lost, distracted, and easily manipulated. You cannot command your reality when you are immersed in the expectations and demands of others. The mind cannot think critically, plan effectively, or act decisively if it is crowded with voices that are not its own. Solitude is the antidote, but not the passive kind that comes from being alone and idle. Strategic solitude is intentional. It is the purposeful withdrawal from external noise to engage in deep thought, reflection, and recalibration. It is stepping back not to escape but to advance with precision. This is not a luxury, it is a requirement for men who seek to lead, create, and conquer. Throughout history, the most powerful men have understood this. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, wrote his greatest thoughts in solitude, reflecting deeply on his role and his decisions. Nikola Tesla, whose mind changed the world, was notorious for withdrawing for long periods, consumed by his ideas. Even modern giants like Steve Jobs and Elon Musk have spoken about the necessity of spending uninterrupted time alone to generate their greatest innovations. Solitude is not isolation from purpose, it is immersion in it. But let's be clear, this is not about disappearing for months into the mountains. Strategic solitude can be woven into daily life. It begins with reclaiming your mornings. Before the world has a chance to demand your attention, you must command your mind. Rise before the noise. Dedicate the first hour of your day to yourself. Reading, thinking, journaling, or planning. In that hour, no messages, no emails, no distractions. Only you and your thoughts. This practice alone can separate you from the masses who start their day in reaction rather than intention. Next, you must audit your environment. Where in your life can you carve out pockets of silence? Is it in your commute, where instead of consuming mindless content, you engage in deep thought or listen to ideas that challenge and expand you? Is it in your weekends, where instead of social obligations, you allocate time to strategic thinking about your goals and direction? Solitude isn't about being physically alone, it's about creating mental space in which no one else has access. In these moments of isolation, you must confront the hardest truths about yourself. The silence will force you to see your weaknesses, your procrastinations, your excuses. This is why most avoid it. It's easier to stay busy, distracted, and surrounded than to face the brutal honesty of your own reflection. But this confrontation is where power is born. You must ask yourself, where am I falling short? What am I avoiding? Only in solitude will you find these answers. And only with these answers can you course correct and dominate. Solitude is also the breeding ground for original thought. When you detach from the herd, your mind begins to produce ideas untainted by consensus. Most people think in echoes. They repeat what they hear, think what others think, and act as they're told. But in solitude, you begin to think independently. You begin to innovate, to question, to strategize. This is where leaders are made, not in crowded rooms, but in quiet spaces. In addition, strategic solitude is essential for mental recovery. Your mind, like your body, requires rest. Constant engagement leads to mental fatigue, poor decision-making, and burnout. Isolation provides the necessary space to recharge, to process, and to regain focus. It allows you to return to the world sharper, stronger, and more deliberate in your actions. Without this, you are merely reacting, not commanding. Some practical ways to implement strategic solitude include scheduling daily reflection periods, setting aside one day each week for deep work without interruptions, and engaging in solo challenges, whether physical, like hiking alone, or mental, like tackling a complex problem without outside input. These practices recalibrate your mind and re-establish your internal authority. Do not wait for the world to grant you permission to be alone. Take it. Carve it out aggressively. This is how you reclaim your mind from the grip of endless noise and distraction. Solitude is not weakness, it is the silent forge where greatness is hammered into shape. You must understand that the path to power is often a solitary one. Not because the world abandons you, but because you choose to rise above its noise. In silence, you confront your deepest flaws and your greatest potential. You sharpen your vision, solidify your strategies, and command your next move with lethal precision. Solitude is not about withdrawal, it is about preparation for domination. Ask yourself now, how often do I truly disconnect to hear my own thoughts? What truths have I been avoiding in the noise of constant distraction? It's time to confront them. It's time to forge your strength in the quiet. Begin by claiming 1 hour of complete isolation each day. Let that time belong to no one but you. In that hour, reflect, plan, and strategize. Use it to sharpen your mind and prepare for decisive action. Then expand this practice. Seek out longer periods of strategic solitude where you can recalibrate and elevate your thinking. The world belongs to men who think independently and act decisively. That power is forged in silence. Embrace it, command it, use it. Withdraw to prepare, return to conquer. Chapter 12. The Reality Command Ritual, Cementing Your Authority. Power is not seized in grand moments. It is built in the small, relentless acts that accumulate over time. Just as a blacksmith hammers steel into shape, commanding your reality is forged through consistent, intentional action. You cannot think your way into mastery, you must act your way into it. Rituals are the hammer and anvil of personal power. They are the silent, invisible routines that shape your identity and dictate your results. Every man has rituals. The question is whether they are strengthening him or eroding his will. To command your reality, your rituals must align with the man you intend to become. They must be deliberate, brutal, and uncompromising. This is not about routines for comfort. This is about rituals designed to harden your mind, sharpen your focus, and fuel your dominance. Rituals are the cornerstone of a man's power. Look at any elite performer, an athlete, a CEO, a warrior, and you will see a man governed by rituals. These men don't wake up and wonder what they should do. They execute, without hesitation, without negotiation. Their rituals are non-negotiable because they know that success is not spontaneous. It is engineered. But most men drift. They wake up reacting to the world, consumed by distractions, overwhelmed by demands. They rely on fleeting motivation instead of disciplined systems. They hope success will arrive without building the machinery to produce it. This is why they fail. Their rituals are passive, weak, and rooted in comfort. To command your reality, you must burn those weak patterns to the ground and forge rituals that fuel dominance. The first step is to design a morning command ritual. Your first hour sets the tone for your entire day. If you start passively, you will be reactive for the rest of the day. If you start with power, you will carry that momentum forward. Your morning must include physical intensity, mental clarity, and strategic planning. Begin with physical movement. Run, lift, stretch. This is not about fitness, it's about priming your mind for war. The body must be challenged first because the mind follows the body. Once your blood is moving, engage in mental sharpening. Read, reflect, write. Feed your mind with ideas that expand your thinking. Finally, plan. Review your top priorities and set your focus with lethal precision. What must be done today? What action will push you forward? Next, you need a nightly reflection ritual. Power is not just built in action, but in reflection. Before you sleep, you must review the day with ruthless honesty. Where did you dominate? Where did you fall short? What can be improved tomorrow? This is not a ritual for comfort. It is a mental audit. Keep a journal and record your wins, your failures, and your next moves. This ritual forces accountability. It sharpens self-awareness, and it ensures that each day is not wasted but used as a stepping stone for the next. But daily rituals are not enough. You must also adopt weekly isolation rituals. Once a week, you must step away from the noise. No phone, no distractions, no input from others. This is your time to think deeply about your path. Reflect on your long-term goals. Adjust your strategies. Solitude is where clarity is born. Without it, you are simply reacting to life rather than commanding it. Use this time to refine your mission, study deeply, and recalibrate your mind. Beyond these, you must embrace voluntary hardship rituals. Comfort breeds weakness. You must systematically seek out discomfort to build resilience. This means cold showers, fasting, intense physical training, or deliberately taking on difficult tasks. These rituals harden your will and expand your limits. Every moment of controlled suffering reinforces the belief that you are in command, that nothing external can break you. This is not about punishment. It's about forging unbreakable discipline. Lastly, implement decision-making drills. Indecision kills momentum. Each day, force yourself to make quick, definitive decisions. Start small, choose what to wear, what to eat, where to focus, then escalate. Delay nothing. If a decision must be made, make it. This ritual rewires your brain to act, not hesitate. Over time, this becomes instinct. Leaders act, losers wait. Now combine these rituals into a 30-day command challenge. For the next 30 days, you will live by these rules. Every morning you will train your body, sharpen your mind, and set your strategy. Every night you will reflect and recalibrate. Every week you will isolate and think deeply. Every day you will seek discomfort and make fast decisions. No exceptions, no excuses. This is your forge. You will emerge harder, sharper, and more focused. The first week will be the hardest. Your mind will resist. It will beg for comfort, for distraction, for escape. Ignore it. The resistance is proof that these rituals are working. By the second week, you will begin to notice shifts, clearer thoughts, stronger actions, deeper focus. By the third week, you will move differently. You will command yourself and, by extension, your reality. By the end of 30 days, you will be unrecognizable to the man who began this journey. Your life is nothing but the sum of your rituals. Weak rituals produce a weak man. Powerful rituals forge a force of nature. This is your moment to choose. Will you continue drifting, reacting, and hoping, or will you seize command and forge a system that guarantees your dominance? Ask yourself, what daily rituals are keeping me weak? Which rituals must I destroy and replace to build the life I demand? The tools are in your hands. Now build. Forge your morning with precision. Reflect at night with honesty. Isolate weekly to strategize. Suffer deliberately to grow. Decide quickly to act. This is how you command your reality. No more waiting. No more excuses. Begin the 30-day command challenge now. Forge your will, sharpen your mind, command your life. The unstoppable force has awakened. A man who commands his reality does not ask for permission. He does not wait for opportunity to knock. He does not seek approval. He moves, decides, and acts with purpose because he understands that reality bends to the will of those bold enough to shape it. This journey has not been about learning more. It has been about becoming more. You have forged mental discipline, sharpened focus, conquered indecision, and embraced discomfort. Every chapter was a strike of the hammer, shaping the raw metal of your potential into a weapon of absolute authority. You now stand as a force of nature, forged in the fires of discipline and sharpened by relentless action. But understand this: mastery is not a destination. There is no finish line. The world will not suddenly bow before you because you've read this book. Power must be reclaimed every single day. Your rituals are your foundation. Your decisions are your weapons. Your will is your compass. This is a lifelong war, a war against mediocrity, comfort, and the seductive pull of weakness, and it is a war you must fight daily. The world will try to pull you back into complacency. Distractions will lure you. Doubt will whisper in your ear. But now you know better. You know the truth. Reality is not fixed, it is fluid. It molds to the man who refuses to accept it as it is. That man is now you. Look at the life in front of you. The relationships you want, the success you crave, the respect you demand, they are all waiting, not for someone else, for you. But they will not come to the man who waits. They will only answer to the man who commands. The final challenge, the 30-day Total Command Initiative. The time for theory is over. Now it's about execution. Starting today, you will commit to a 30-day total transformation, a battle plan designed to cement everything you've learned and elevate you to full command over your life. Day 1 to 7, destroy weakness. Identify one area where you've been soft, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, and attack it relentlessly. Implement the morning command ritual every day without fail. No snoozing, no negotiation. Eliminate one comfort that has made you weak. Cold showers, fasting, early mornings. Choose discomfort. Day 8 to 15, sharpen focus. Eliminate all major distractions for these 7 days. Social media, mindless entertainment, empty conversations. Cut them out. Each day, prioritize your top 3 tasks and finish them before anything else. Use weekly isolation to think deeply and refine your long-term strategy. Day 16 to 23, master emotional control. Observe your emotions without reacting. When anger, fear, or doubt arises, pause, choose your response. Practice delayed gratification in every area: diet, purchases, conversations. Control is king. Engage in one voluntary hardship each day. Lean into discomfort. Day 24 to 30, relentless execution. Make one bold, decisive move you've been avoiding. Call the person, start the project, cut off the toxic influence. Push your body further than you think possible. Whether it's a workout, a run, or a cold exposure session, break through limits. Reflect nightly with brutal honesty. What did you dominate today? Where did you fall short? By the end of these 30 days, you will not be the same man. Your mind will be sharper, your will stronger, your actions bolder. You will stand taller, move faster, and think clearer, because you will have become the man who commands his reality. But this is only the beginning. After 30 days, the rituals remain, the decisions sharpen, the war continues, because mastery is never finished, it is only sustained through daily conquest. You are no longer a man living by chance. You are the force that shapes your world. The puppet strings have been cut, the excuses burned, the waiting is over. Now move, act, dominate. Command your reality, the world will obey.